The Grand Council chamber of the Galactic Alliance hummed with the voices of 24 species. Massive holographic displays showed the approaching human vessels, primitive by Alliance standards, with visible weld lines and inefficient propulsion systems. High Counselor Mev, with skin like polished obsidian and 6 delicate appendages, tapped a silver rod against the podium. "Order, please. Let us conclude our strategy for the Earth delegation." The chamber quieted as Admiral Locke stood. His reptilian features were set in what passed for a smile among the Durrani. "The humans have accepted our invitation to peace talks with predictable eagerness. After only 50 years of interstellar capability, they believe themselves ready for galactic diplomacy." A ripple of amusement passed through the assembly. "Their technological development is chaotic and unrefined," continued Science Minister Prell, her translucent body pulsing with blue light. "They've cobbled together warp technology from fragments of crashed Alliance vessels. Their weapons are crude mass accelerators and chemical explosives. Yet they survived the Korthan incursion," noted Councillor Tarn, the oldest member present. His species, the long-lived Ulth, were known for caution. Admiral Locke dismissed this with a wave. "Barely. The Korthans were merely scouting Earth's resources, not mounting a full invasion. The humans celebrate this minor defense as a great victory, unaware of what a true Alliance battle fleet can do." Strategic projections appeared above the central table: resource calculations, population estimates, and military assessments of Earth. "The humans occupy a resource-rich system," said Resource Director Vin. "Their planet contains significant quantities of rare heavy metals and water. Their position also holds strategic value in the ongoing dispute with the American Federation." "High," Counselor Mev nodded. "Then our course is clear. We offer them protection, technological exchange, and limited trade rights. In return, they provide resource access, military support, and colonial territories." "They will accept," Admiral Locke stated confidently. "Their interspecies wars have left them desperate for allies. They have no conception of their position in galactic politics." "And if they refuse?" asked Tarn Mev's eyes narrowed. "The terms will be presented as non-negotiable. Should they decline, we demonstrate our power. Their planetary defenses cannot withstand even our diplomatic escort vessels." "What of their reputation for unpredictability?" Tarn persisted. "Humans are known for their adaptability and aggression when threatened." Laughter echoed through the chamber. Admiral Locke pointed to the display showing the approaching human ships. "Look at their vessels: primitive armor plating, exposed power conduits, inefficient design. What threat could they possibly pose to an alliance that has stood for 10,000 years?" "Very well," Mev concluded. "The delegation will meet their fleet at the designated coordinates. Present our terms clearly. Earth may join us as a protected territory or face isolation. Either way, their resources will serve the Alliance." The council members filed out, already discussing how Earth's territories would be divided. Only Tarn remained, studying the images of the human ships with troubled eyes. "Something about this feels wrong," he murmured to himself. "Why would they agree so readily to talks after refusing our previous overtures? What changed?" But his concerns went unheard, as the Alliance prepared to welcome the humans to their first, and likely last, independent diplomatic mission. Commander Wren stood at the viewport of the EFS Defiance, watching stars streak by as the ship cut through subspace. 10 human vessels formed the diplomatic fleet, ostensibly unarmed merchant and passenger ships refitted for this historic mission. To any scanner, they would appear exactly as expected: technologically inferior, hastily adapted, harmless. That was precisely the point. "Status report," Wren called, turning from the viewport. The bridge crew worked with quiet efficiency, their movements precise and practiced, despite the casual appearance of their stations. "All systems nominal, Commander," replied Navigator Paul. "Alliance rendezvous point in 3 hours. Their sensors are tracking us exactly as predicted." Wren nodded. "And our friends?" Communications Officer Dex tapped her console. "Shadow Fleet maintaining position. They're completely obscured by our warp signatures, just as planned." 20 years ago, Wren had been a junior officer when the Korthan ships appeared in Earth's skies. The attack had devastated 3 major cities before humanity's combined military forces managed to repel them. The world had united in the aftermath, not in celebration, but in grim preparation. "They'll come back," General Vega had said during the first emergency summit. "And next time, they won't underestimate us." The general had been right about visitors. Returning, but wrong about who. The Alliance had contacted Earth 5 years later, offering friendship while probing for weaknesses. Their subtle arrogance and dismissive attitude toward human achievements told Earth's leaders everything they needed to know. "Director Teller's on secure channel," Dex announced. Ren moved to the private communications station. The grizzled face of Earth Defense Force's intelligence director appeared. "Alliance Council meeting concluded an hour ago," Teller reported, without preamble. "Our sources confirm they're planning to present non-negotiable terms. Resource extraction rights, military drafts, colonial concessions, the works. Threats if we refuse." Teller's expression hardened. "Immediate show of force, followed by blockade or direct military action." "Perfect," Ren said. "They're following the script." After the Corthan attack, humanity had learned a harsh lesson about galactic politics. While publicly struggling with basic spacefaring technology, Earth had secretly poured resources into advanced weapons research. Captured Corthan tech had provided a foundation, but human innovation had taken it far beyond its original capabilities. For 20 years, Earth had shown the galaxy exactly what they expected to see: a primitive species barely managing interstellar travel, divided and weak. Meanwhile, hidden shipyards in the asteroid belt and beneath Europa's ice had produced vessels with technology that would shock the Alliance. "Engineering reports the cloaking systems are functioning perfectly," said Technical Officer Lang. "The fleet's power signatures and weapons systems remain undetectable." Ren returned to the viewport, watching as the diplomatic fleet approached the rendezvous point. Behind them, invisible to Alliance sensors, traveled 30 warships, the true strength of humanity, hidden in plain sight. "The Alliance thinks we're coming to beg for terms," Ren said quietly. "They have no idea we're coming for justice." The stars continued to stream by as the fleet approached its destiny, not as supplicants, but as avengers. Aboard the Alliance flagship Illustrious, Ambassador Kree adjusted his ceremonial vestments. As the Alliance's chief negotiator, he would have the honor of bringing the humans to heel. "The observation deck reports visual contact with the human fleet," his aide reported. 10 vessels as expected, matching the specifications in our intelligence reports. Kree's mouthparts clicked in satisfaction. "Excellent. And our escorts are in position?" "Yes, Ambassador." 20 warships cloaked and positioned to surround the humans once negotiations conclude. Admiral Locke's commands personally. A fact that would be revealed only after the humans signed the treaty. The Alliance had perfected this strategy with dozens of emerging species. Appear diplomatic, secure legal agreements, reveal overwhelming force, and expand territorial claims. It had worked flawlessly for millennia. "Have the humans made any unusual requests?" Kree asked. "Only that their commander Ren be allowed to bring a personal security detail of 6 officers to the signing ceremony." Kree waved dismissively. "Granted. Let them have their symbolic protection. It will make no difference to the outcome." On the Defiance, Ren finished briefing the assault team. "Intelligence Officer Ward, you'll lead the boarding party. The moment we confirm the Alliance's treachery, you move to secure their command center and communication hub." Ward, a compact woman, with calculating eyes, nodded. "My team has memorized the Illustrious schematics. We can reach the core database in 7 minutes from the observation deck. Remember," Ren continued, "we need irrefutable evidence of their plans. The recordings must be transmitted to all Alliance member worlds simultaneously." Lieutenant Dax checked his specialized equipment one last time. "Countermeasures are ready for their security systems. They won't know what hit them." Ren turned to Communications Officer Dex. "Status of the Shadow Fleet?" "In perfect formation, Commander. Strike teams prepped on all vessels. The moment you give the signal, they'll decloak and target Alliance propulsion and weapon systems." Technical Officer Lang approached with a small case. "Final intelligence update, Commander. Our infiltration programs have extracted the Alliance's complete battle plans. They intend to surround us with cloaked warships during the signing ceremony." Ren smiled grimly. "How thoughtful. They've positioned themselves perfectly for our counterattack." The tactical display showed the Alliance's trap. 20 warships holding position around the rendezvous point. Invisible to conventional sensors but clearly visible to the advanced detection systems humanity had developed. They still think we can't detect cloaked ships, Navigator Paul observed. One of many miscalculations they'll regret today, Ren replied. Are the truth seekers ready? Lang nodded. Calibrated to detect biological stress indicators across 17 species. If Ambassador Kree lies during the negotiations, we'll know immediately. Ren gazed at the approaching Alliance flagship visible on the main screen. It was massive, ornate, and powerful, a symbol of the Alliance's 10,000-year dominance. Final communications check, Ren ordered. All channels secure, Dex confirmed. The Shadow Fleet awaits your command. Ren straightened his uniform. Then it's time. The Alliance expects to meet desperate diplomats begging for fair treatment. Instead, they'll find humanity's justice. As the diplomatic shuttle prepared for departure, Ren addressed the bridge crew one last time. For 20 years we've built, planned, and waited. Today, we show the galaxy that humanity will not be colonized, exploited, or threatened. Today, we rewrite the rules of galactic society. The shuttle bay doors opened, revealing the gleaming Alliance flagship. And may whatever gods they worship have mercy on them, Ren added softly. Because we won't. The observation deck of the Illustrious gleamed with polished metals and living crystal, designed to intimidate visitors with Alliance opulence. Ambassador Kree stood flanked by representatives from 12 major Alliance species, while Commander Ren led a small human delegation across the expansive floor. Welcome to the Galactic Alliance, Kree began, his translator converting his clicks and whistles into standard human language. We are pleased that Earth seeks friendship with the civilized worlds. Ren's expression remained carefully neutral. Earth appreciates your welcome, Ambassador. We look forward to establishing mutually beneficial relations. Kree gestured to an ornate table where the treaty document was displayed on a crystalline screen. We have prepared an agreement outlining the terms of Earth's entry into our protective sphere. As Kree detailed the agreement, resource extraction rights, military conscription quotas, colonial concessions, Ren discreetly touched the communication device on his wrist twice. Aboard the Shadow Fleet, captains received the signal. Weapons systems powered up. Target locks engaged. These terms are non-negotiable, Kree concluded. The Alliance has maintained peace for 10 millennia through unity of purpose. Earth will prosper under our guidance. Ren studied the document. For a moment. This isn't a treaty, Ambassador. It's a surrender document. Kree's translator hesitated before conveying his response. I assure you, Commander, these are standard terms for new members. Your world lacks the experience to— We lack many things, Ambassador, Ren interrupted. But experience with betrayal isn't one of them. With deliberate movements, Ren activated the holographic projector in his hand. These are the deployment orders for your 20 cloaked warships currently surrounding our fleet. Orders signed by you 3 days ago. Kree's skin paled. How did you— Ren tapped his communication device 3 times. Throughout the Alliance fleet, sensors suddenly detected multiple new energy signatures as the human Shadow Fleet deactivated their advanced cloaking systems. 30 warships appeared where empty space had been moments before, their weapons already locked on Alliance vessels. On the Defiance, Lieutenant Commander Hayes gave the order. All ships, weapons free. Execute pattern Thunderbolt. The human fleet opened fire. Alliance shields designed to repel conventional weapons crumpled under concentrated quantum disruptor beams. Technology the Alliance believed was centuries beyond human capability. Precision strikes disabled propulsion systems and weapons arrays without destroying the vessels outright. On the observation deck, chaos erupted as alarms blared. Kree lunged for an emergency control panel, but Ward's security team moved with practiced efficiency, neutralizing the Alliance personnel with targeted stun weapons. Secure the command center, Ward ordered her team. Jam all communications except on our frequencies. Ambassador Kree found himself pinned to the floor, Commander Ren standing over him. You came to sign our death warrant, Ren said calmly. Instead, you've witnessed the end of Alliance dominance. Through the observation windows, Kree watched in horror as his cloaked fleet became visible, disabled by weapons they couldn't defend against. The human warships moved with coordinated precision, executing maneuvers that should have been impossible for such a young species. How? Kree managed to ask. Ren smiled coldly. You saw what we wanted you to see. Primitive ships, basic technology, desperate diplomats. You never asked why the Korthans failed to conquer a supposedly inferior world. Across the Alliance fleet, commanders watched helplessly as their ships were systematically crippled by an enemy they had fatally underestimated. Admiral Locke stared in disbelief as his flagship systems failed one by one. Shield generators offline, weapons neutralized, engines disabled. Around him, the bridge crew worked frantically to restore functionality. How did they detect our cloaked vessels? He demanded. That's impossible, his tactical officer voice, shaking, replied. Sir, their technology isn't consistent with our intelligence reports. These aren't the primitive ships we were briefed on. Through the viewport, Locke watched a human warship execute a maneuver that defied the laws of physics as the Alliance understood them. The vessel seemed to phase between positions, its hull bristling with weapons of unfamiliar design. Counselor, Tarn was right, Locke murmured. We underestimated them. Ward's team moved through the Illustrious with ruthless efficiency. Alliance security forces found themselves facing humans equipped with adaptive armor and neural disruptors calibrated specifically for each species' physiology. Command center secured, Lieutenant Dax reported over the comm. Downloading their central database now. Ward nodded, directing her team to the communications hub. Prepare to broadcast on all Alliance frequencies. We need every member world to see what their leadership planned. Throughout the Alliance fleet, boarding parties from the Shadow Fleet secured key systems and command centers. Unlike the Alliance's usual conquests, the humans took extraordinary measures to minimize casualties. Another calculation the Alliance had gotten wrong. They had expected savage barbarians. Instead, they faced disciplined warriors with precise objectives. On the observation deck, Ren kept Ambassador Kree and the other Alliance officials under guard while monitoring the battle's progress. Your fleet has been neutralized, Ren informed them. No Alliance vessel has been destroyed, but none remain combat-capable. Kree's translator struggled to convey his mixture of shock and outrage. This is an act of war against the Alliance. All member worlds will unite against Earth. Will they? Ren signaled to Ward, who activated a holographic display showing the contents of the Alliance database. When they learn you plan to enslave Earth? When they see the records of how many other protected worlds have been subjugated? When they discover the resource quotas you've imposed on your own member species? The color drained from Kree's face as he recognized the classified documents. We've been monitoring Alliance communications for years, Ren continued. We know about the Rivan Rebellion, the Thoril Uprising, the forced population stabilization of the Nex homeworld. How? Many member worlds stay loyal out of fear rather than allegiance? Before Kree could respond, Lieutenant Dax approached. Commander, we're receiving transmissions from 5 Alliance vessels. They're requesting communication channels. Ren raised an eyebrow. Put them through. The holographic display showed the commanders of 5 different ships, each representing a different Alliance species. This is Captain Merrill of the Sentinel, said one, her delicate features set in determination. My world joined the Alliance 3 centuries ago, under similar agreements to what you were offered. We would like to discuss cooperation. One by one, the other captains expressed similar sentiments. Worlds that had been coerced or deceived into Alliance membership saw humanity's resistance as an opportunity. Aboard his crippled flagship, Admiral Locke received reports of the defections with mounting horror. The Vectol, the Sentinel, the Daybreak, all communicating with the humans. This is treason! His communications officer worked frantically at her console. Sir, we can't stop the transmission. The humans are broadcasting evidence of High Council, directives to all Alliance worlds simultaneously. Locke slumped in his command chair as decades of carefully maintained deception unraveled in minutes. The broadcast reached every corner of Alliance space. On 1,000 worlds, citizens watched as their leaders' secret directives were exposed. Resource exploitation quotas, population control measures, genetic modification programs for less advanced species, military draft requirements disguised as defensive contributions, and at the heart of it all, the plan to subjugate Earth through manipulation and false diplomacy, followed by military occupation if necessary. On the illustrious, Ward's team had established complete control of the communications hub. The broadcast continued uninterrupted, despite frantic attempts by loyal Alliance technicians to halt it. 17 more vessels requesting communication channels, Lieutenant Dax reported, including 3 Alliance battlecruisers. Wren nodded. Open channels to any ship that requests them, but maintain weapon locks. This could still be a deception. Ambassador Kree watched with mounting despair as the carefully constructed hierarchy of the Alliance began to fracture. "You have no idea what you've done," he said. "The Alliance maintained peace." "Peace through subjugation isn't peace," Wren countered. "It's just a different form of war." The holographic display showed new signals as ships from distant Alliance systems arrived, drawn by the unexpected broadcast. Many took defensive positions around human vessels, rather than with the disabled Alliance fleet. Admiral Lox's voice came through on an emergency channel. "Commander Wren, you've made your point. Let us discuss terms before this situation deteriorates further." "The time for your terms has passed, Admiral," Wren replied. "But I'll listen to your surrender." A ripple of amazement passed through the Alliance officials. In 10,000 years, no Alliance fleet had ever surrendered to another power. Lox's face contorted with rage. Surrender? To a species barely out of its atmospheric cradle? The Alliance has dominated this galaxy since before your ancestors discovered fire. And yet, here we are, Wren said calmly. Your ship's disabled. Your secrets exposed. Your member worlds questioning their allegiance. History is changing, Admiral. You can be part of what comes next, or you can be remembered as the last defender of a corrupt regime. The observation deck fell silent as everyone awaited Lox's response. Finally, the Admiral's shoulders slumped. "What are your terms?" Wren gestured to the defecting Alliance ships now surrounding the human fleet. "It's not just my terms you'll need to accept. There are many worlds eager to renegotiate their relationship with the Alliance." As if on cue, Captain Morell of the Sentinel stepped forward on the holographic display. "The Velen Confederacy demands immediate revocation of resource quotas and military draft requirements." Other captains joined with their own demands: independence, reparations, technological access long denied to lesser members. Ambassador Kree watched in horror as the power structure built over millennia crumbled in hours. "You don't understand what you're destroying," he whispered. "The galaxy needs leadership. Structure." "Yes," Wren agreed, surprising him. "But not tyranny disguised as protection. Something new is emerging here, Ambassador. A true alliance based on mutual respect rather than domination." Throughout Alliance space, member worlds monitored the unfolding situation. Many had chafed under Alliance rule for centuries, but lacked the strength to resist alone. Now, with humanity providing the spark and the evidence, revolution spread, like wildfire across the stars. 1 month after what historians would later call the Revelation, Commander Wren stood before the newly formed Galactic Council. Unlike its predecessor, this body included representatives from all formerly subjugated worlds, each with equal voice and vote. The chamber, hastily established on a neutral station orbiting a previously restricted Alliance research world, hummed with dozens of languages as former enemies discussed reconstruction and reconciliation. "The Transition Committees report progress on 57 formerly restricted systems," announced Tral, once a minor functionary, now representing his people. "For the first time, Alliance military outposts are being converted to scientific research stations as agreed." Captain Morell, now serving as interim security coordinator, added, "Former Alliance military personnel are cooperating with integration efforts. 90% have chosen to serve under the new charter." Wren listened as reports continued. The galaxy was transforming with remarkable speed. Worlds long denied technological advancement were receiving assistance. Trade routes previously controlled by Alliance monopolies opened to all. Cultural exchanges flourished between species that had been deliberately kept separate. Not all was smooth, of course. 17 former High Council members awaited trial for crimes against sentient beings. 3 Alliance fortress worlds remained in lockdown, refusing to acknowledge the new order. Pirates and opportunists exploited the temporary power vacuum in distant systems. When the session concluded, Ren found Counselor Tarn waiting outside the chamber. The elderly Ulth had been one of the few Alliance officials to join the new government willingly. "Your species continues to surprise me, Commander," Tarn said. "I expected retribution. Instead, you've built something hopeful." Ren smiled slightly. "Humanity has a complicated history, Counselor. We've experienced enough conquest and colonization on our own world to know the damage it causes. We didn't fight to replace one empire with another." They walked to an observation window overlooking the shipyards where vessels from 100 worlds worked side by side. "What I still don't understand," Tarn said, "is how you advanced so quickly. The technological leap between your first contact with the Korthans and your confrontation with our fleet should have taken centuries." "Necessity," Ren replied simply. "Throughout our history, humans have shown remarkable adaptation when faced with existential threats. After the Korthan attack, every nation, every resource was devoted to one purpose: survival." Tarn nodded thoughtfully. "And the deception? The primitive ships? The apparent technological backwardness? An old human strategy. When outmatched, appear weak until you aren't. We learned from Earth's history that when powerful civilizations encounter less advanced ones, subjugation often follows. We didn't intend to fight, but we prepared for it anyway." As they watched, a massive former Alliance dreadnought passed by, now refitted as a humanitarian vessel bound for worlds long exploited for resources. "Do you think it will last?" Tarn asked quietly. "This new coalition?" Ren considered the question carefully. "Nothing lasts forever, Counselor. But I believe we've built something worth defending. A galaxy where strength protects rather than dominates. In Earth's solar system, new shipyards manufactured vessels not for war, but for exploration and scientific research. Diplomatic teams from dozens of formerly restricted species arrived daily, eager to establish relations with the humans who had broken the chains of a 10,000-year empire. Admiral Lox, confined to house arrest pending his trial, received one visitor: Commander Ren. "I still don't understand," Lox said bitterly. "How did a single primitive world defeat the greatest power the galaxy has ever known?" Ren considered the former admiral with something approaching pity. "You made the mistake that powerful empires always make, Admiral. You looked at our outdated ships, our limited territory, our recent arrival on the galactic stage, and saw only weakness. Instead of seeing what truly makes humans dangerous?" Lox asked. "Yes," Ren replied. "When threatened, we don't surrender or negotiate from weakness. We innovate, we adapt, we unite, and we never ever fight fair." As Ren departed, the stars outside seemed somehow brighter, shining on a galaxy forever changed because powerful forces had fatally underestimated humanity's most dangerous quality: the absolute refusal to be subjugated, no matter the odds. Throughout the newly formed Alliance, the story spread from world to world. How the arrogant Alliance had invited humans to peace talks, expecting submission. And then the human fleet opened fire.